another video improving this little office. There was a few of you that suggested that I make this cabinet to open upward, and after consideration I went ahead and did that. So today I'm going to cut and build shelving on the inside. So that I'd have dividers so I can maximize bottom and top. Now, one of the things that I want to be clear on stuff in here is that I don't want to spend a lot of money. I don't want to, I'm cheap, I'm frugal, and that's what's helped me to get to where I'm at. I try not to spend too much money, and I try to use what I already have. So using what I already have, I'll make this function, because we're looking for function, not luxury. If we can get luxury out of function, then that's cool. But that's not my goal. My goal is to have something that functions, that works for me. It doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to work good. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by cutting plywood. Again, just scrap, whatever I have, plywood that I've had for years. 1-inch strips, and that is going to be what's going to hold up the shelving. Now I'm going to use a push stick. If you notice, I don't use a guard, I don't use a riving knife or a splitter of any sort. I don't like to get comfortable with the saw, and anything that I try to do on this saw is I do it on purpose. In other words, I try to think of everything that I'm going to do before I do it. And if you do everything on purpose, you won't have any accidents. Now we're going to cut them to length. Let's go get a measurement. I'm going to say 7 inches, and that'll give me room to go past the shelf to put stuff on top and still give me room on the bottom. And we'll decide right now as far as height. But right now, 7 inches for length. Let's go cut them. And as you see, some things are a little bit more organized. I still have a mess. It is a mess in here. Pretty disorganized. Sometimes I come in here and it's overwhelming. But little by little, little steps, little steps. So I'm going to use my crosscut sled, and again, I made it with scrap. Pretty much trash lumber that I've found on the side of the road, and I pick it up, and I'm just making do with what I have and trying not to spend too much money. And you'll see as you go through life, watching somebody else have new stuff, new tools, although some tools you want to buy new, no doubt about that. But new car, new TV, new furniture, new fill in the blank. And you try to keep up with what the world is selling you. This consumer, buy everything that everybody else has, buy what's new. I mean, it amazes me how many people buy a brand new phone every year. And the money they spend on that phone, I imagine, not that I know firsthand, but I imagine that there's some out there that are still paying for the last phone when they buy their next phone. To me, that is incomprehensible. And Yeah, I just don't understand. Anyways, I'm cheap, frugal, whatever you want to call it, thrifty. So I make stuff out of trash, out of reclaimed whatever, make it work for me. And I just got to say that it's worked for me. It's worked for me. I have lacked nothing. I have lacked nothing. And as you go through life and things that are unaffordable, because they're meant to kind of sap you, keep you in a siege, always not having enough, always scraping by. But you'll find that if you just become thrifty and do without, a wise carpenter once shared, get the need to haves, and if you can, the nice to have. That's a good philosophy. Anyways, let's go. So we said we were wanting to cut 7 inches. Okay. So I'm going to mark 7 inches right there. And this is a clamp I've made, again, pretty much out of reclaimed everything, right? And you crank this. So here's my stop. Here's my stop. There's the stock. And it's 7 inches from this side of the blade, which is this side of the kerf. And I can do repetitive cuts. Pull them through, move that one out of the way, put the next one in. You guys that have this set up a little fancier, a little less fancier, know what I'm talking about. For you guys that are brand new, that's how it works. So here we go. All right, we got our pieces. Here they are. Let's go put them in. We're getting ready to put the shelf supports and I'm going to start by drilling them out. We're going to countersink them, and that way the screw will sit flush. So I had these 2 scraps, and I'm going to use those as spacers. They're both the same size, right? They're both the same size. And I'm going to use those as spacers to place the shelf supports inside the shelf, right? So I'm going to screw them in, take them off, but before we do that, I'm going to cut a piece of shelving so that we can see if those spacers are the height that I want. I was going to say the right height, but there is no right height. It's whatever I want, right? So let's measure the opening here. And most of them are 11 inches, so let's cut one at 11 inches. I think I'm going to cut about 1 inch off of the spacers. So let's do that. And I said about 1 inch, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do about 1 inch because I really don't care to measure if it's 1 inch or not. That was about 1 inch. There's going to be a lot of people that want exactly what they want, and they don't know how to compromise. And the problem with that is a lot of times these people, they think they're like the king or something. And yeah, there's only one king, right? There's only one king. All right, so let's try out these spacers. I like that. I think that's good. I think we're gonna install them. So let's do it. And put you way back here so you can see all the action. All right, so we're gonna cut some more 11-inch shelving. That's perfect. Let's check the other one. Oh, not 11. Perfect. All right, so this one's not 11. I'm going to cut that one 9 1/8, which is another thing. When you're working with scrap and you're working with stuff that you find you've had around for years, it doesn't hurt to make a mistake. And again, you want it to be utilitarian. Now, if I was making furniture, that would be a different story. And I've had discussions with some of the friends that I've had that are also carpenters, and they're into fine woodworking. I'm into like rustic, Western style, old Mexican rustic type furniture. So a dimple, a scrape, just adds character. So anyways, 9 1/8. Here we go. Yeah, baby. So I think I'm going to call it good for this video. I'm satisfied with the shelves. They came out
satisfactory for their need, thriftiness and frugality. Some people don't like it, but let me give you an example. Some of you guys have been wondering about these numbers. I've collected them through the years. Those are the numbers of the first and second house that I was able to afford and to buy. Because I'm cheap and because I'm frugal and because I have a wife that can put up with thriftiness and frugalness and cheapness, we were able to buy and then sell and then buy and then sell and end up here. And sometimes things happen in life that sometimes we're not prepared. But if you are used to doing without, then when people try to walk all over you like a doormat because they think they're kings, then you walk away and they continue to slave while you can live free of that stress, because that stress will kill you. And because my family and I have learned to scrape when we didn't have to scrape, now we don't have to scrape. There's only one king. This is one of my old hard hats. I don't know if you can see the message there, right? For those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, watch and perceive and listen and understand. There's only but one king. Thank you.